Welcome to Vacuum Wars, and to our review of the Eufy G40 Plus robot vacuum. Eufy, which is one of the leaders in budget robot vacuums, took their tried and true slim design, added a lot of performance and navigation upgrades, and new features like a self-empty bin, and is offering the package at a very reasonable price. We bought one and put it through all kinds of tests this week, and in this video we'll go over all the pros and cons. So links in the description, and let's get started. Starting off with the pros, the Eufy G40 robot vacuum itself is really powerful. We tested its suction and airflow, and both of those numbers were much higher than average. It also did good with related tests like the crevice pickup test, where it was about average overall, but much better than other budget robots. As far as its main job of picking stuff up from the surface of hard floors and carpets, it was excellent, picking up everything from fine to extra large debris on hard floors and carpets with no issues. I've always been impressed with Eufy's pickup mechanics, and the G40 Plus was no exception. One big pro for the Eufy G40 Plus is the way that it navigates around your house, because unlike cheaper Eufys and cheaper robot vacuums in general, it makes a map of your house and navigates in a systematic row-by-row way, mostly using a gyroscope and a floor tracking mechanism. This method of navigation is considered a middle-tier option for robot vacuums. It's much more efficient than cheaper random navigation robots, which bounce around more or less randomly and do not create maps, but not quite as accurate as robots that map with lasers or cameras, but it's pretty close to those for a lot less money. In our tests, I found it to be really good at navigation. Its coverage was near 100% and it was very efficient. In my home tests, it created a map on the first try and cleaned my 400 square foot floor plan in about 60 minutes, which is as good or better than most LiDAR or V-SLAM robots. It made good decisions in tight spaces, though I would still recommend picking up as much clutter as possible before it's run to make sure that it doesn't get unnecessarily stuck. The auto-empty bin is another pro. These self-empty systems have become super popular lately. This is where when the robot returns to its base to recharge, it automatically empties the contents of its dustbin into a disposable bag. It comes with two 3.2 liter disposable bags, which Eufy says will hold 60 days worth of debris. It returned to its base and emptied its bin automatically with no issues in our tests, and there were no clogs in the emptying process. But if you have a lot of pet hair in your home, you may need to run it more times a week to prevent clogs, and or set the emptying frequency higher in the app. Speaking of the app, as I said, it creates a map. You also have control over the power levels, including a boost mode where it increases the suction power for carpets automatically, which I highly recommend. You can also set a repeating schedule with desired power settings and a number of other standard app features. Another pro is that it's really short. It's only about 2.85 inches tall, where the average is about 3.36. This means it can vacuum under many more types of furniture than its competitors. The final pros I'll mention are the price and the customer reviews. It's one of the cheapest auto-empty robot vacuums for the price, and so far the reviews are pretty favorable. There was one spec that wasn't really a pro or a con. Its dust bin capacity was exactly the average size at 420 milliliters. Moving on to the negative stuff, its battery life was slightly below average at 100 minutes on low power, but it does have a feature called recharge and resume, which is where if it does run out of battery, it returns to its base to recharge, and then after it's charged back up, it resumes cleaning at the same place on the map that it left off, so it's not that big of a deal. Its carpet deep cleaning ability was also a touch below average. This is where we embed sand into medium pile carpets and weigh the bin before and after. It was about the same as other Eufys like the 11S or 30C, but about 15% lower than many of its competitors. Not that big of a deal, and it was great with surface debris on carpets and really good with hard floors, but still worth noting. Another con is that the G40's brush got really tangled with human and pet hair in our tests, but this is normal and just means that you should perform regular maintenance. Another con is that the G40 does not have advanced app features like no-go lines, which is where you draw barriers in the app to keep the robot from going places that you don't want it to go. It's one of the few limitations of this cheaper type of smart mapping, but as I said, if you have a fairly clutter-free house or can pick up things it's likely to get stuck on beforehand, you should be fine. In general, I was really impressed with the G40 Plus. It's a good budget auto-empty robot vacuum with a ton of power, great performance, great pickup ability on hard floors and carpets, and surprisingly good navigation and features for the price. Links in the description, and be sure to subscribe to Vacuum Wars before you leave. Thanks for watching.